All right, let's go.
This live stream may contain content that could be perceived as shocking or offensive, but it is presented solely for educational purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. We strive to adhere to community guidelines, and any potentially sensitive material is shared with the intent of fostering understanding and learning.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. I want to welcome you to tonight's live stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. First and foremost, does size matter? Top 5 reasons why it helps. I had a security guard that works for a third-party company that works alongside of us. He's a smaller guy. He's a nice guy. He's a good kid, but he's a smaller guy, right? And like most smaller security guards, I would assume most smaller, law enforcement officers, the guy catches a lot of hell. He gets a lot of flack. And so he was asking me like, hey, is it about my size? Is that what is causing a lot of these problems? And to be honest, like no disrespect to any of you guys who are out there, who are a little bit on the smaller size, it does matter a little bit. There's some aspects of the job that if you are a bigger security guard, it just gives you, I don't want to say necessarily an easier time. And there's definitely things about being bigger, being larger that can be kind of a hindrance or a drawback. But we're going to talk about the top 5 things where it does help to be a little bit bigger. So remember, guys, you can comment, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe to the live stream, to the channel. Remember, if you are looking for security guard centered t-shirts or patches, check out bonesandbrewsecuritygear.com. All that good shit is right there. But let's get right into it. So number 5 of my top 5 reasons why size matters. Okay, no jokes over here. Okay, we're talking about security, working in the security field, why size matters. Number 5 is the appearance of increased authority. Guys, larger size can naturally convey authority. It helps officers to command respect and compliance from individuals that they interact with. I will tell you from firsthand experience, me being about 6'1", 6'2", depending on the boots that I have on, anywhere from 260 to 275. Guys, I'm a big guy, right? I command a lot of authority in terms of just having my presence. Now, again, I've told you guys that this can work against you. A lot of times if you're smaller in stature, if you're not a big guy, you tend to look at the guys who are a little bit bigger and you're like, man, like they got it easy. Not necessarily. Like you have to be aware of your size. You have to be aware of how your presence affects people. You have to be more aware of de-escalating. I have been talking about that situation in Seattle for the last 2 weeks, guys. The size of that security guard, the way that security guard looked, how he carried himself, that is a large part of how the interaction between that subject is being viewed. So I agree that being a little bit bigger in stature, a little bit bigger in size, it gives you that increased authority in terms of presence. But again, that can work against you if you don't understand that. You don't kind of understand the balancing act that comes along with that. But definitely if you're smaller, you do run into these issues where already being a security guard, you're already looked at as if you have zero authority, right? You're already looked at as if you have zero ability to enforce any policies. You're starting from behind the 8 ball from the very, very get-go. So if you're smaller in stature, that is definitely not helping. Number 4, enhanced visibility, okay? Larger guards are more noticeable and can cover more ground, providing better surveillance and monitoring of the area that they're assigned to. Being a security guard, 99.9% of what we do, it's deterrence, right? I don't want to say we, the companies that hire us, they're hiring us to put us generally in a forward-facing location so that when the bad guy, the perpetrator, the subject, the jerk, when they come into the store, they come into the retail establishment, they come into the business, they see the guy there or the female, right? That's the entire reason why they have us there, to be that deterrent. If you're a larger guard, right off the bat, you're going to be seen from all different angles. The store that I work at I stand in one very specific location where if you're coming up the escalator, you're going to see me. If you're coming into the door to my left, you're going to see me. If you're walking down the sidewalk to my right, it's an entire glass wall. You're going to see me. I'm a big guy. You're going to see me. If you're coming in to the door at the complete opposite end of the store, you're going to see me, right? So putting me in that position with my size, my height, my girth, if you will, people are going to see me. And that's what the clients are wanting. They're wanting you to be that visual deterrent. They're wanting you to be that person that when that nefarious person comes into the store, they're like, oh shit, right? So again, if you are a smaller security guard, if you're shorter, you're thinner, you're not taking up as much space, you're not seen from a distance, that can be a little bit of a hindrance as well. Number 3, I wrote intimidation factor, but I'm going to say intimidation factor with a disclaimer. But let me go ahead and read this, right? Number 3 is the intimidation factor. Their size can be can intimidate potential troublemakers, making them think twice before engaging in any disruptive behavior. I will say that my presence and people who are my size or big or bigger tend to get a different response from people when we show up to the situation, right? If there's a problem in the store, there's a problem on the sidewalk, there's a problem in the garage, and there's been a call for security, when the larger, bigger security guards. Now, I say this, prefacing that with if you are somewhat in shape and you have a decent command presence about you. If you're overweight, if you're sloppy, if your uniform is spilling out, if you're spilling out, you tend to get a little bit more of that same pushback that the smaller guards get, right? But if you're in any way in shape and you show up to these situations, there is a marked difference in how people respond. So there is a little bit of that intimidation factor. Now, I say that understanding that my job is never to what's the word I'm looking for? My job is never to intentionally intimidate anyone. That's what I wanted to say. My job and my desire is never to intentionally intimidate anyone. That's not what I want. If my presence, my size, the way that I look, the way that I carry myself, if that intimidates you into behaving differently or making different choices, then so be it. But my desire is not to be an intimidating person or to intimidate someone. So while I do think that that is a important aspect of being a bigger security guard and coming to the table with a little bit more size on you, it's important to understand and also be able to articulate that that's not your desire to intimidate people. We don't want to do that, okay? Number 2, physical strength. Larger guards typically have greater physical strength, allowing them to handle physical altercations more effectively if necessary. I would have to agree. The few times that I have had to go hands-on in a situation, it has been to my benefit to have my size. I think that if you have ever, been around security guards who are a little bit larger, taller, stronger, bigger, their ability to utilize that size in a situation is definitely to our benefit. When you're working in private security, a lot of times you're working these locations and you're by yourself. We don't have, unlike police officers, we don't have a button or a radio that we can push where they're going to send the cavalry. If you get involved in a hands-on situation, you get involved in an assault or an attack, you're generally on your own. And it's to your benefit to be a little bit bigger, to be a little bit stronger, to be able to handle yourself in these situations where most likely, you're on an island, right? So if you're a smaller guard, that is even more of an issue. All of the things that we've talked about leading up to this one, they're important, right? But I would say more than anything, if you're ever in a situation where you truly are in a hands-on or a one-on-one situation, or God forbid, a one versus, however many, if you're a smaller guard, you are at such a disadvantage. So definitely being bigger gives you more physical strength and more ability to handle yourself in those situations, specifically when you're by yourself. Number 1, this one is kind of like number 4, kind of like number 5. a little bit like number 3, and that's deterrence. Larger security guards often have more imposing presence, which can act as a deterrent to potential threats and troublemakers. I can't talk today. Too many T's in all of this, right? This is the exact reason why I think that state troopers, I don't know if this is the rule now, but I was told that there used to be a rule that state troopers had to be over 6 feet. They had to be over 6 feet and over a certain, amount of pounds, because the state troopers wanted their officers to have a certain command presence, a certain way of looking, because when the state troopers show up, they wanted to have, this certain look. And so they wouldn't hire anybody if they didn't meet a certain height and weight requirement. So just like everything else leading up to all this, size is going to lead to deterrence. And remember, at the end of the day, that's 99.9% of what we are there for, is to be a deterrence. Now, does that mean that the bigger the guard is, the taller the guard is, the better that they're going to be at their job? Absolutely not. Does that mean that if you're a smaller guard, you're, 5'4", 5'5", that you don't bring something to the table, that you can't be, a valuable guard, you can't be a valuable member of the team? Absolutely not. All of these things can be somewhat arbitrary, but they are objectively right in terms of the things that I've laid out in this dynamic of these 5 things. All right. So I'm interested to know what your thought process is. Give me 1 second here. All of a sudden I'm having like allergies or whatever. Hang on. Woo. So before we go any further, we got a couple comments that came in here. What we got here? Kaylin Williams, what's good? How you doing, bro? PBE. Today, PBE will be showing the Philadelphia gas station shooting video. I have the entire video, and I will be giving my opinion on that. Might surprise you what I think about that. Mr. Fusion says, strength is important, yeah, but it doesn't matter if you can't fight for a long time and get your breath for walking 3 steps cardio. Yeah. Getting gassed in a one-on-one situation or a hands-on situation is a horrible position to be in. And I have been there. Again, guys, make sure you're checking out the website, bonesandbrewsecuritygear.com. All of your t-shirt needs and your morale patch needs. Before we get into the next topic, I want to talk about cringe security guards of TikTok. I don't get on TikTok a lot. And the reason for that is that anytime that I try and upload something on TikTok, I usually get some sort of like community strike or community violation. And I'm just fucking over it, man. I get so tired of my videos getting struck down. I literally put up a video. You know what? I put up a video about me graduating from college. I put up a video that said, I finally did it. And it was a screenshot that basically was from the university that said, you've met all of your requirements. And they flagged that. I'm like, why would you flag me getting a degree? Like, why is that a bad thing? So I had to dispute it. They finally put it back up, but it's like, it doesn't matter what I put up on that channel. It always gets flagged. So I try to stay off of TikTok. And boy, do I realize why I should stay off of TikTok. I have seen some really cringe videos on TikTok about security guards, and I'm going to have you guys watch them with me. Now, look, I'm not the guy that's going to give people a hard time about what they're wearing, what they're carrying, but we need to talk about some of these security guards because, I have made it my mission. I've made it my goal to try and elevate the industry. And I'm going to show you guys some of these videos, and I want you to tell me, do you feel like these videos are a positive for private security? Do you think that people are watching these videos and thinking like, yeah, I want to get into that industry, or I want to be a part of that? Does it help our image, or is it a hindrance? I don't know. Okay. I did not watch any of these, so I'm going to play them and we're going to be watching them together. All right. Here's the first video.
You want to work security, but you don't want to work 50, maybe 60, 70 hours a week, plus weekends. You want to work security, but you don't want to eat Wendy's at 5 o'clock in the morning like I'm eating Wendy's right now, bro. I don't want to eat Wendy's. I don't want to eat Wendy's. I want some nice home cooked food, you feel me? Sometimes, but it's just too late to come home and start making.
What do y'all think of this outfit? How's the gear check right now? We got a pretty tight shirt going on here, small plate carrier. kind of like a baseball cap. What do you guys think about this? Give me some comments.
And then sometimes you just eat the food and it's done. It's over. You feel me? You want to work security, but you don't want to carry a vest and get tired on your neck and your feet hurting because of the boots, stuff like that. You feel me, bro? There's pros and cons.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. What he's talking about is real talk. He's talking about working the job and what comes along with it, the aches, the pains. I'm not mad at what he's saying.
I do it because I can. You feel me? We look good, feeling good, making money. There's a pump, and I haven't even hit the gym, bro. There's a pump. But yeah, you guys be careful, stay safe. If you're interested in security, bro, I'm gonna be making a series pretty soon. Hopefully that goes good.
Damn. All right, man. All right. PBE says he basic though. I wonder if people look at my videos and think of me like that. Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. Like my man here, he seems like he's in shape. Probably a young man, early 20s. He probably getting some ladies. I ain't mad at him. What do y'all think about the uniform though? Right? Yeah, PBE said he was talking truth. He was talking truth in terms of like the job requirements. People don't want to be out here getting it in. So I ain't mad at my man. We're gonna let him slide. All right, next video. Here we go.
Ma'am, leave the building. Leave the building. Please leave the building. Thank you. Call the police.
We are.
What's your name?
Security.
Yo, do y'all like these old school what do you call them? It's not a baton, is it? Nightstick. The old school nightstick. That damn thing is almost down to his ankle. Y'all down with that?
Name is security. Leave the building.
You're a rent-a-car, bitch. You ain't shit.
She hit him with the "you're a rent-a-cop." Let's watch that again. Let's see here.
The building. Ma'am, leave the building. Leave the building. Please leave the building. Thank you. Call the police.
We are.
What's your name?
Security. My name is security. Leave the building.
You're a rent-a-car, bitch. You ain't shit.
What do y'all think about my man? My old man. Somebody says dynamite comes in small packages. Yeah, I think I told my wife that once, right? Caleb Williams says, I'm surprised he can wear that. Even we can't wear logos or American flags on our gear. Where do you work that you can't wear an American flag? I know that some places are big on not wearing like the thin blue line American flag, but I can't imagine that you can't wear an American flag, man. That ain't right, dude. Seriously, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that as a patriot, right? My man Lone Wolf says, height, you mean? Yep, let's see here. Kalen says that's one of them you best not say nothing boy clubs. Yeah, absolutely. Bro even said, please, always got to call someone a rent-a-cop. Yeah, we get the rent-a-cop all the time. We always get that. All right, let's go to the next video here. Hang on, stand by. This one was interesting. I did watch this one. This next one comes up and there's a guy, he is super famous on TikTok. He's got like 500, I think like 500,000 followers or something close to that. He has a lot of followers. And he gives a pretty interesting take on this video. And I want to talk about this. Stand by.
Looking for. We got what you looking for.
So I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little bit of a controversial topic within the security world, but I'm going to preface by saying that I'm thinking about the officer's safety when I say this. Unarmed officers shouldn't have ballistic vests. Why, you might ask? Well, they shouldn't be put in situations where they would need one. If the company sees the need that their officers need ballistic vests because there is the chance that their officers might be harmed, those officers should probably be armed. Or the company sees it as like an intimidation factor and wants those officers to be more intimidating with their vests, which, I mean, them being unarmed, that just causes even more risk to those officers. So I don't think unarmed officers should have vests. If they believe that they need the vests, they should move over to armed and have armed officers that are vested up. But unarmed shouldn't be in situations where they would need it.
Unarmed shouldn't be in situations where they would need it. How do you know where you're going to need the vest? That's absolutely asinine. And guys, this guy has like, I don't know if it was 50 50,000 followers or if it was 500,000 followers. I don't know. I'm getting old. So maybe let's just say he has 50,000 followers. This guy is a private security guard, seems to have a very large platform in terms of how many people follow him. But for him to say, and this is where I have this issue with private security guards going on social media and saying things like this, right? Guys, subscriber count, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, in 2024, subscriber count signals authority. Okay. It doesn't necessarily bring you money. It doesn't necessarily bring you any sort of fame or notoriety. But what it does signal is a level of authority. Okay. So a lot of these kids, a lot of these younger guys who have 50,000 followers, who have 100,000 followers, they're out here just saying crazy shit. And that can be co-opted by people that are in political positions. I'm sure that you guys are aware that specifically the Democrat Party, without going in a rant here, the Democrat Party looks for social influencers to push their agenda and push their message, whether that's about gun control, whether that's about anything. So with the way that people look at private security, with the way that people have this bug up their ass about our entire industry as it is, they will take something like this and then utilize that as a platform to remove the ability for private security guards who are working unarmed to have access to bulletproof vests. If anything, the movement should be for every single unarmed guard to have a bulletproof vest. They should have a ballistic vest. Those are the ones who really don't have any protection. And there's no situation where just because you're working in an armed environment that now you're somewhat the only person that is subjected to being stabbed or being shot or being shanked, right? That's just not reality. That's not reality. And my conjecture is that every guard, everyone who's working in this capacity should have a ballistic vest. Let's watch that again. I don't want to hammer on this kid. I don't know this guy. And like I said, this guy seems to have a pretty big following, but that really pisses me off. You guys know how I feel about these hospitals and these locations where they don't allow their officers to wear ballistic vests. That is absolutely reckless for him to say that. Let's play it again.
We got what you looking for.
So I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little bit of a controversial topic within the security world, but I'm going to preface by saying that I'm thinking about the officer's safety when I say this. Unarmed officers shouldn't have ballistic vests. Why, you might ask? Well, they shouldn't be put in situations where they would need one. If the company sees the need that their officers need ballistic vests because there is the chance that their officers might be harmed, those officers should probably be armed. Or the company sees it as like an intimidation factor and wants those officers to be more intimidating with their vests, which, I mean, them being unarmed, that just causes even more risk to those officers. So I don't think unarmed officers should have vests. If they believe that they need the vests, they should move over to armed and have armed officers that are vested up, but unarmed shouldn't be in situations where they would need it.
You don't get to dictate when you're going to need it. When I left the county prison and I went to the state prison, when I was doing my onboarding, they sat me down and they were like, hey, you know, the state authorizes all of the prison guards to wear the stab vest. And they were like, but and this is what they told me. They go, but only the bitches wear stab vests. This was in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, what do you mean only the bitches wear stab vests? They were like, well, you know, if you come on the block and you got a stab vest on, it just means that, you know, you're not confident in being able to handle yourself. And, you know, most of the guys here don't wear them. I don't like, looking back, I don't know what the reasoning would have been for them to not want me to wear a stab vest. Now, they could have just wanted me to get stabbed. You know what I mean? They could have been in a situation where they didn't want more new officers coming in and wearing it and them not wearing it. And one of the officers was like, well, you know, the issue is that in the summertime, it gets hot. And once you decide to wear the stab vest, if you sign this document that you're requesting it, then you have to wear it all the time. And I'm like, well, cops wear their ballistic vests all the time. Why wouldn't I wear a stab vest all the time? I'm working in a fucking prison. And they're like, well, you can wear it, but if you wear it, everybody's going to think you're a bitch. Everybody's going to think you're a bitch. Right then and there, I knew my time was not going to work out at this prison. Like, that was just one more red flag coming in the door that this wasn't the place for me. You know what I mean? But the idea that you can dictate and pick and choose when you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need a ballistic vest, that's Karen talk. That's Karen talk. That's how the Karen who votes left, the uber liberal, thinks about guns. Oh, well, you don't need a gun. You don't need a gun. You shouldn't have to have a gun. The guns are for the people in law enforcement that when they come in, and it's like, that ain't reality, Karen. So, no disrespect to this dude, you know what I mean? But I'm not feeling that at all. Oh my God. Let me get some of these comments in here. Someone says at the very least, one of the smaller stab proof. Yeah, you can wear the concealable, stab proof, spike proof level 3 vest. It doesn't have to even be ballistic if that's the case. It doesn't have to be an outer carrier or have Molly, things like that. But that's just crazy, right? PBE says it's about what the client wants. The guy sounded anti-gun, anti-vest. At least the unarmed guard shall wear a concealed vest. He also says that prison guard lost his mind. Anti-gun clients I avoid unless I'm in desperate need for money. Agreed. Yeah. And this guy says, yeah, that's no common sense. Absolutely. All right, next video. Guys, listen, I'm seeing a lot of these videos from women. I'm not going to go down the demographic of these women, but there's a thread that you will be able to pick up on when I play this video. Guys, I think that a lot of these videos are playing into the stereotype. They're playing into a lot of stereotypes. I do everything I can to try and never lean into a stereotype. Like, some things you do when you just, you have to just deal with it. But I try not to ever lean into the stereotype. I just wish that more security guards, more people that are working in private security would understand that their actions, the things that they say, the videos that they make, that it plays into the stereotype, and it's not good for us. You know what I mean? So here we go. I mean, I hate to show these next couple of videos, but we're going to do what we're going to do. Here we go.
Are they often out here with guns?
With guns?
Yes, they often out here with guns.
I don't know nothing about that.
Seeing a lot of these, like people at work making TikToks, like, just this shit is so corny to me. Let's play it again. Hang on.
Why they often out here with guns?
With guns?
Yes, they often out here with guns.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that. And listen, it gets worse. Here we go. Oh my God. Like, how am I supposed to argue against that? Right? I'm over here trying to tell everybody that they should look at us a certain way and think of us as professionals. And then we got people at work doing this shit. Come on now. That is insane. That is insane. That's crazy. Oh my God. Westwell says he's not getting any sound from the videos that I'm playing. Is the sound coming through on my videos, guys? Is there something that's not working on this end? You're the first person to say that, Westwell. Everybody else seems to be getting the sound, bro. Okay. Somebody says Allied. Yeah, figures, right? Speaking of Allied, watch my man right here. Watch this one. Watch this one.
Key, fuck these niggas up. DJ Mix, look, you gotta motherfucking feel this shit, boy.
If you see me and you tryna see what's up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck. Bitch looking bad and got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist.
I'm not going to front. The song kind of slaps. What did the caption say? I didn't see the captions. Hang on, stand by. I want to see what those captions say.
Keep fuck these niggas up. DJ Mix, look, bitch.
Okay, he said 3 stages of security: actually doing your job and reporting every little thing that seems suspicious.
If you see me and you trying to see what's
Falling asleep on posts and not even paying attention. Okay.
up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck. Bitch looking bad and got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist, fucking hold it up.
Clock in and don't go to your post. Don't even show up. Oh, Lord. Yeah, a lot to be proud of, you know? Well, yeah, you know, when someone says that's Allied Universal, like that is, and you know, it's a shame that a company that has people that literally post that's what they do, that's how they carry themselves, that's what they aspire to, that is the company that gets all the contracts. You know what I mean? It is what it is, right? What are you gonna do, right? All right, I'm gonna show you guys a crazy video. I'm gonna start doing this this section of the live stream. It's gonna be called Portland is Crazy. I'm gonna show you guys crazy videos from Portland. Okay, this next video is a surveillance video from one of the locations across the street from where I work. This is a gas station across the street from where I work. This is a shooting that happens. The gentleman that gets shot survives. I heard he was shot in the balls and the leg. All right. So I want y'all to see the craziness of Portland. All right, here we go. Stand by. Check this crazy shit out. There's no sound on this one. Y'all see the Easter Bunny on the side over here? So Easter Bunny walks up. Now you've got a guy at the van, and then you have a dude standing in front of the van over here that's at the gas station. Easter Bunny's checking on shit. And he's like, okay, what's up? Easter Bunny sees 2 guys arguing. Hey, the Easter Bunny was like, I already know. Easter Bunny was like, I'm out. I already know. Easter Bunny dipped. And there it is. And there it is. Easter Bunny knew what was up. Easter Bunny was like, hey, I can see where this is going. Y'all want to see it again? Let's play that again. Hang on a second. Stand by. Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny was like, what? We got beef? Huh? We got beef? Look at Easter Bunny got a little swag on him, man. He got his shoulders out. He's like, what's the problem? Easter Bunny said, what's the problem? My man over here yelling and screaming with the bald head. Easter Bunny's probably telling him to calm down. It ain't that serious, bro. It ain't that deep. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I can already see where this is going. Yeah. Whatever the issue is, it can't be that serious. Like people that want to get into arguments and fights at the gas station, like it never ends well. Bro's like, he came from like, he's already about it and was just like, wait, I'll get back. I'm gonna scramble your eggs. Yeah, he went to go grab the carrots, pop the trunk, get the carrots out the trunk. Shot his balls off. Not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. All right, so I was thinking the other day, speaking of Portland, I joined a Facebook group and it's like security guards and it's bouncers. And I started thinking about when I worked as a bouncer in Pennsylvania at a nightclub before I started DJing. And, you know, it just seems like bouncers get away with so much more than private security guards. And I was asking somebody, I'm like, why is it that bouncers seem like they can do so much more? Now, granted, I work for a corporate company. I know a lot of people that work for private companies, a lot of people that work for smaller companies. They do way more hands-on, way more sketchy shit in the security realm. But it just seems like in general, nightclub bouncers, strip club bouncers, it's just a completely different dynamic in terms of like how they carry themselves. And I was talking to my man, he was like, yeah, you know, a lot of it has to do with like the fact that they're paid under the table. A lot of it has to do with just the environment. So I was thinking to myself, you know, what are the top 5 reasons why bouncers get away with so much? If any of you guys have ever worked as bouncers, if any of you guys know anything about the bouncing industry, please feel free to chime in. I am not the expert in this realm. I will take any information, advice, thoughts on this. I'm going to give you my top 5. I wrote down 5 things that I think are generally could be pointed to in terms of why bouncers are able to be so aggressive. It just seems like they're able to be aggressive. They're able to, like, you know, drink on the job. I don't think any of this stuff is good. I'm not saying that security should be able to do this, but if you just think about the way that most bouncers at nightclubs, strip clubs, you know, fucking after parties, things like that, how they carry themselves. If we were to do that in the private security industry, man, we would get our license revoked. We would get in so much trouble. So what are the 5 things? Number 5, power dynamics. Bouncers often have significant, I cannot talk today, often have significant physical presence and control over entry to the venue. That can create a power imbalance and make it more challenging for the patrons to report misconduct. Now, when I worked the front door, I was the door guy. Okay, so we had an entire team of bouncers, but my job was strictly just to work the door, scanning IDs, you know, making sure people were, you know, adhering to the dress code, things like that. I had a lot of power in terms of who got in. Now, the nightclub that I worked at, this is in Pennsylvania, guys, outside of Philadelphia. When it's wintertime, it is ungodly cold. It's ungodly cold. It's snowing like crazy. It's sleeting. It's icing. And so if people are out on a Friday night or a Saturday night and they know the door guy and they can get into that club, they can bypass the line, they can get in quicker and not have to stand out there and wait to get in because the club is packed or because there's a wait list. That's an amazing amount of power. Now, I'm not going to tell you, you know, what people would do to gain favor, but, you know, that is a very interesting position to be in. So I can see where that power dynamic of if a bouncer gets into it with somebody, you know, boink somebody over the head, crack somebody, body slam somebody, the people that are in line, they don't want to be the person. If they go to this club regularly, okay, if they go to this place regularly, they're there a lot. They don't want to be the person that creates an issue or a problem that ultimately reflects back on them, right? So I can see where that could be an issue. Number 4, legal ambiguity. Laws and regulations regarding the conduct of bouncers can vary by jurisdiction and may not be as well defined or enforced as those for security. It's just one of those really unregulated industries in a lot of places. It is. You know, there's a lot of things like that. Bounty hunting in some areas is highly unregulated. Private security in some states, they don't have a governing board in Ohio, or is it Ohio or Idaho? One of those two don't have like a governing board. You don't have to have a license. You don't have to have, you know, a specific company, LLC. You can just do private security on your own. And there's a lot of places where if you're working as a bouncer, you're not necessarily listed as a security guard. You're not carrying a weapon. So you're not, you know, legally carrying a weapon anyway. You're not beholden to a lot of the same rules and regulations. Private security is something that retail establishments, businesses, banks, all kinds of areas have to use private security. So there's an air of oversight and legislative power with that. People don't necessarily put that same stock into the nightclub industry, the bar industry, the strip club industry. They should, because a lot of shit happens there. But I think that there's just a lot of ambiguity as to where a bouncer falls. And a lot of times when people are working as bouncers, they're working under the table. These guys aren't on paperwork. They're not working on a W-2 or, anything like that. They're just working under the table. They're getting paid in alcohol. They're getting paid in lap dances, So a lot of times when they do shit, it's hard to hold them accountable because they're not really on any sort of paperwork. Number 3, cultural norms. There may be a cultural acceptance or tolerance of certain behaviors from bouncers in nightlife settings where assertiveness and physicality are sometimes seen as necessary. Roadhouse. If you guys have seen the original Roadhouse, not this remake that was absolute bullshit. Conor McGregor is horrible and should never be acting in anything other than like a Grand Theft Auto, scene or something. But yeah, it's culturally acceptable. People expect for bouncers to be aggressive, to be, rough and tumble. Like that's the image of every movie that you've seen. It's crazy how security is an actual industry. It's an actual regulated industry. And the general consensus about security is so much lower than the general consensus about a bouncer. You could tell a woman that you meet a woman out somewhere. She's like, hey, what do you do? You tell her you work in private security. You're going to have to really do a lot to make her see that as something positive. You tell her you're a bouncer. That's kind of fucking hot. What? You're a bouncer? You're a bouncer like Patrick Swayze, like Jake Gyllenhaal in Roadhouse? Oh my God, tell me more. You ever get in a fight? You ever get stabbed? You ever get cut? You know what I mean? We deal with the same shit. We deal with the same problems, but the general consensus about bouncers is night and day different than the general consensus about private security guards. So I can see that where the cultural norm is a big thing. Number 2 is going to be limited oversight. I kind of already said that. Nightclubs and bar environments may have less stringent oversight compared to other establishments that allows for bouncers to operate with more autonomy. There's just nobody watching. Also, I think that in those settings, we had a shooting last week at one of our strip clubs. If you come out of my street and make a left, you're on one of the major roads here in Portland, and there's just strip clubs. Portland is known for having the most strip clubs per capita than any place in the world, right? So one of our famous strip clubs, there was a shooting the other day. And I started thinking about that when I was writing all this out, that a lot of times people don't want people to know that they were at these places. Whether it's a shady nightclub, maybe it's a shady bar, definitely a strip club. You get into a situation where a bouncer tunes you up a little bit. You don't necessarily want to report that. It might be something that your job finds out about, your wife finds out about, your girlfriend. A lot of times people are going to these places, they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. They're with people they shouldn't be with. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times if a bouncer gets a little aggressive, gets a little too handsy, they don't want to report it because it's going to out the other shady shit that they're doing. That is also another issue. Number 1 is perception and stereotypes. Bouncers are often associated with nightclubs and bars where the atmosphere can be rowdy, leading to an assumption that their behavior is more tolerated or expected. You're in a nightclub, you're in a bar, you're in a strip club. It comes with the territory. People don't expect to see someone getting thrown through a glass window when you're working at a retail establishment. So there's going to be a little bit more scrutiny on that. There's going to be more scrutiny when you're working as a security guard in an environment where the decorum is a little bit different. When you're in these environments, nightclubs, bars, fucking concerts, everybody's expecting it, right? So that's probably 5 reasons why I would say people are more tolerant of bouncers than they are of security guards. Let's see what we got here. Westwell says, bouncing is frequently lightly or non-regulated. Yeah, absolutely. Not Vegas, Honolulu. So maybe in Vegas or Honolulu, it's more regulated, right? Westwell gives a check mark. I'm going to assume that's what he means. Speaking of working in Philly, guys, I want to share with you guys the video of the Philadelphia gas station shooting. There was a security guard that was involved in a shooting event. I think that was this week. Let me see where the video is. And PBE, if you're still in here, if you can give us any sort of update, my man PBE that's on here a lot. He comments a lot. He works in that environment. I think he might even work with this company. He was the first person to reach out and kind of tell me about it. The initial response from the police department was that I don't want to say that they said the shooting was justified, but there was no arrest on the security guard as of yet. Now, every video that I found at first, it showed everything up to the shots being fired. The video that I'm going to show you, it has audio and it has the entirety of the video. So you're going to see the initial interaction. You're going to see everything. It is edited to kind of blur out anything that's graphic. And then I want to give you guys my opinion on it, because when I saw it and I saw it in its entirety, I have a completely different take on it. Okay. So let me pull this down. I am using this under fair use. This is for educational purposes and critique. So please do not ding my channel, YouTube. All right. So the backstory that I got before I put this up is that the gentleman that comes in through the door, he is pulling a smoker and it's attached to a truck. Apparently he drives around, allegedly. He parks his truck, he opens up the smoker, and he sells plates. This is a big thing in New York City and Philadelphia, your bigger cities. People sell plates and they'll make fried fish, they'll make ribs, they'll do, burgers. My man's hustling. So apparently he's parking this in the gas station parking lot, and they have already told him that he's not able to do this. I don't know if he's been officially trespassed, but he has been told at least on one other occasion that he is not to park his truck there. He is not to have his smoker there. He's blocking the pumps. He's blocking entrance and exit. And so when he comes into the store, you're going to hear the security guard tell him like, hey, I've already told you can't come in here, or something to that effect. So I'll play it all the way through without stopping it, and then we'll bring it back up and we'll break it down. Okay. And we'll go full screen. Here we go.
Who the fuck are you talking to? Don't fucking touch me, dog. Who the fuck are you talking to, dog? Like, really? Oh, God. Really? Fuck, dog. Really?
So, to the best of my knowledge, and I haven't been told anything otherwise, what we're hearing is, or what you're seeing rather, is that the guy walks in, the security guard tells him, you're not supposed to be in here. And then he immediately puts his hands on the guy. Okay. He's initiating the contact right there. He's initiating for all intents and purposes, he's the aggressor. Now, does that give the authority to the subject to draw a firearm? Absolutely not. When he draws that firearm, guys, you're going to be up for this. When he draws the firearm, there's no articulation of that weapon towards the security guard. Now, from a legal standpoint, I'm going to assume, given the totality of circumstances, being in Philadelphia, being in that environment, how dangerous these areas are, the fact that the guy is agitated, that the security guard is going to be justified in terms of taking that shot. But I don't know that he nor the company are going to survive a civil lawsuit if that were to come down the pipe. Because in my opinion, he did not have any reason to go hands-on with this guy at the very beginning. I'm going to bring this back up. and we're going to slow walk this, okay? Hang on 1 second here. Okay, so we're going to assume the security guard allegedly had already had a interaction with this guy earlier that day. So now the subject is coming back in and they're having an interaction. But I want you guys to watch the security guard put his hands on this guy. So stand by. Says, bro, you can't be in here, bro. And the guy says, you know, I don't know what he says, something. The subject says something. And now the security guard has grabbed him by the chest. And the guy's pushing the security guard's hands off. Don't you fucking touch me.
Don't fucking touch me, dog.
Now, before the subject pulls his firearm out, the security guard opens something on his vest. I don't know if he is going for his taser, if he's going for pepper spray, but I want you to watch this, so stand by. Security guard puts his hands on the guy pushes the security guard's hands off. Now, once the security guard has had his hands pushed off, he starts to retrieve something. Again, I don't know if it's a taser, if it's pepper spray, or even if this is his firearm.
Don't fucking touch
He reaches into his left side.
me, dog.
He unlatches something that's on his chest. I'm going to assume this is his taser. I think. That could... Hang on. See, I can't tell if he's wearing his firearm on his hip because of the darkness of this. Samuel says maybe his body camera. It's possible that he's carrying his firearm on his chest in a cross draw position because I never see him draw his firearm from his right side. God, I wish I could. Hang on a second. Hang on. He might be carrying his firearm on his chest in cross draw. No, it looks like his firearm's on his right side.
Don't fucking touch me,
But he's at his chest right now. Right hand's at his chest.
dog. Who the fuck are you talking to, dog?
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right, now I see it. All right. Okay, so he reaches to his left chest, I'm assuming to get his taser, and then you're going to see the subject pull his firearm, and then with extreme quickness, the security guard draws his firearm from his right side. Stand by.
Don't fucking touch me, dog. Who the fuck are you talking to, dog?
Very quick transition. He's got the guy at gunpoint right here, and the subject has the gun pointing down. Okay.
Really?
First shot right in the face. I'm going to say easily 18 shots. Now, at this point, what I think happens is that the security guard stays on the X, and the subject, you can see he lifts the firearm up from his back. That's the firearm right there. I think he takes 2 shots and shoots the security guard. The security guard was hit at least once in the leg. So what I am assuming is happening is that the subject has fallen to his back. He lifts the gun up, takes 2 shots, hits the security guard, and then you're going to hear what sounds like a shotgun. I would love for anybody, PBE, I know that you're on here. If you have any information. It seems to me what happens is that after he's emptied the first magazine, the subject lifts his gun, takes 2 to 3 shots, one of them striking the security guard, and then I hear what sounds like a shotgun. Stand by.
Oh God, really? Oh, no, really?
That clearly sounds like a shotgun to me. So, a couple of things. It's possible that somebody working in the store has a secondary weapon. It's possible that the security guard has access to a secondary weapon. I don't know. But that's dicey. When I say it's dicey, I'm saying that as a person that is looking at it from the perspective of where I'm at. I am not telling you guys that you have to wait for someone to articulate that firearm in your direction, because listen, I have a, I have a trainer gun, but I don't want to get my stream shut off. You know, someone being in this position and going to that position and shooting from the hip, completely possible, completely plausible. Where I think your best bet in that situation, if you were to be involved in this type of encounter, you have to be able to articulate why you took that shot. You have to be able to articulate why you took that shot in that situation while that gun is pointing down. Some people are going to say, hey, he pulled the fucking gun out. You know, it is what it is. Guys, I understand that. I'm not here to argue with you. I am just sharing with you my opinion. I think in that situation, whether it's at work, whether it's in an EDC situation, the important thing is to be able to viably articulate why you took that action. Because if you just say, well, he pulled the gun out, like there is an opportunity for a district attorney to read that differently. Okay. No disrespect to the guy, no disrespect to anybody that works with him, none of that. I'm just sharing that. That is a very, very tragic situation. And again, guys, the officer was still hit. So he got off clearly 16 to 18 shots on target. I don't think at any point that I can discern that the guy got any shots off before he goes to his back. So, you know, think about that in terms of having tunnel vision, step off the X in that situation, and be able to articulate why you took so many shots. You know, why do we do that? We do that to stop the threat. This is a very good example that, you know, people that have this mentality of limiting our round count, limiting our ability to carry what we need to carry, that's a situation where someone levied off 16 to 18 shots and it did not stop that threat immediately. Right? People have it in their head that, you know, we just need 6 rounds. We need 2 magazines. This is a great example. A great example. PVE is chiming in. He says the second weapon is the shotgun. Okay, bad. PVE is very direct. So I'm interested, who had the shotgun? Did the shotgun come from somebody else that was working in that gas station? Did the shotgun, was that located somewhere where the security guard was able to get to it and then utilize that as a secondary weapon? Am I right in my thought process that after the security guard levies off the 16 to 18 rounds, that he is then shot by the subject? So can you confirm any of that information? Can you give me any info on that? And I'm also extremely proud of myself for being right and knowing that that was a shotgun that was being utilized. But let me know what you have. He says PBE is typing, hopefully here. And again, guys, PBE works in that area. I don't know if he works for this company, but there's something about his company or his supervisor, that is somehow involved with people that work at this location. So we're getting firsthand knowledge, alleged knowledge, based off of what he's heard hearsay was. So, again, just wanting to know if the security guard was shot after the subject hit the ground, and who levied the shots with the shotgun. Was that the security guard, or was that someone else in the vicinity of the store? And we'll let him type all that out. And while we're waiting for him to type that out, guys, remember, check out Bones and Brew securitygear.com. That is where you will find all of your cool security guard t-shirts and morale patches. Support the movement, guys. Help me out. PBE, anything? Nothing? No? All right, guys, we had one more video from the Cringe TikTok, and I thought this was crazy because it kind of goes in alignment with what we're saying about how these people aren't taking it seriously. They're focusing on the wrong thing, which is making these TikToks and not doing their job. So I forgot to show you guys this one. I want to show you this before we get off. Jay says, legal shooting, maybe. Morally justifiable, absolutely not. Yeah, I have to agree, man. Now, that being said, what do you do in that situation? We are not required to put our life in the hands of a person that has pulled his firearm out, right? We really, it's a balancing act, and it's a fine line that we have to walk of not being the aggressor, not putting ourselves in bad situations, but also not being so de-escalative that we allow ourselves to get shot in that situation. If a person is going to draw that firearm in that motion, he's already proven to make some pretty bad decisions. Again, though, he did not articulate the pistol towards the guy. I could also say that the security guard did not have to put his hands on that guy and be that aggressive. I will say one more thing, and this is where the rubber meets the road for security guards in terms of our employment. In that situation, more than likely your company is going to say, you were legally justified. You're legally justified if, you were to have any sort of court proceeding, if you were to have any sort of issues that come from that on the criminal side, more than likely your company is going to stand behind you. Now, I can tell you, in my situation, in my job where I work, if my company were to see that, the first thing that they're going to say is, your policy states that we do not enforce trespass, that we are there as a secondary cover officer. Your job, if you see a trespassed individual from earlier in the day, is to get an associate from that company. The associate from that company enforces the trespass. If anything happens, then you step in. So right there on video, if that were me and that guy were to come in the door, I were to put my hands on him, we get into this exact same situation, I'm done. I'm done in terms of my company. More than likely, they're going to cut me on the spot because they don't want any legal obligation to have to defend me either criminally or civilly in a situation that, by all intents and purposes, I put myself in that situation. A lot of you are going to hear that and go, that is fucking asinine. That's outlandish. I would never work for a company like that. They're just hanging you out to dry. If they don't have my back, I'm not going to work for them. I get it. But I'm telling you guys that is the thought process of most large security companies. And if you're working for a mom and pop, if you're working for a smaller security company, if you're working for a startup that is telling you something different, they don't have the financial ability to fight this case at the level that you would have to fight it to either A, keep you out of jail, or B, keep you from losing everything if you were to be sued civilly. That is the importance of understanding your post orders, your standard operating orders, your protocols, your procedures, because we don't have qualified immunity. But our companies, to an extent, they do. I want you to hear that. We as security guards do not have qualified immunity. but to an extent, our companies do. Because when we're working as an at-will employee, and most of the time as a security guard, you're either working as an at-will employee or you're working as a private contractor who's basically being subcontracted out that location by the owner or the company that you're working with, right? The second that you violate the written post orders, which is the agreed upon procedures, the second that you violate the protocol, that gives them an out. There's a big conversation right now on YouTube in the 2A space about the insurance companies like USCCA or attorneys on retainer. It's like USCCA versus attorneys on retainer, right? And how USCCA continually is cutting their coverage with people who are finding themselves involved in self-defense shootings. And the reason why they're able to do that is because in their policy, it says we cannot, under the law, we cannot defend a criminal act. So if you're in a situation where you defend yourself, but you are charged with discharging a weapon in a sensitive space or a gun-free zone, or you have an illegal magazine, or you're using ammunition that you're not supposed to have because you're in a certain state, that gives them a legal out to not have to cover you. And it's the exact same thing for our companies. And if you don't understand that and you don't adhere to that, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble with this, okay? So let me see here. Kaylin Williams says, same bro, I feel like I only have a job until I have to do my job. Dude, that's a t-shirt. I feel like I only have a job until I have to do my job. Then I'll need a new job. I swear to God, I am putting that on a t-shirt. That is so true. PBE says, we ain't dying to a Philly criminal. It's the guard's shotgun. Wow. The guard's shotgun. You know, there was a big internet hoopla about the security guards in Philadelphia carrying long rifles. You know, even some people who I'm associated with, you know, other YouTube creators who were like, do they need these kind of guns in Philly? And I was like, yeah. Have you ever been to Philly? Like, I used to live there. It ain't no fucking joke, right? Hey, dude, want a song about security? I'll create it in AI. Sure, go for it. Absolutely. Send it to me. I'll put my email up before we go. Bro, we had an option to have guys carry shotguns, but the way it was written, they would have to carry the shotgun, no slings. What? That doesn't even make sense, man. That's crazy. PBE says, nobody shall not have a firearm in their hand on our site unless you have intent to commit a felony. Okay, I understand that. I get that. Samuel says companies are disposable too. Yeah, absolutely. Security companies. Yes. Okay. That was a clarification there. ZC says so many of my coworkers make cringy ass TikToks in uniform at work in the bathroom looking goofy. Yeah. Straight goofball shit. Don't do that. PBE says we are the cops in this business. The only reason the video was out is most likely the owners authorized it. Yeah. I found it on a Facebook page. Oddly enough, I'm in so many, you know, like gun pages and stuff, and somebody had put it in. So I found it on a random Facebook page. I downloaded it and uploaded it for this. Attorneys on retainer is the better model. Yeah. The reason why attorneys on retainer is better than, like, say, USCCA is because they are simply offering legal service, right? Where the insurance company is saying that if you're in a situation, you're not necessarily charged with a crime, but you're having to defend yourself in a legal self-defense shooting, we're going to offer our services, but you really need to understand what that means. I'll make a video on that, you know, kind of down the line somewhere when I have some more time. I really want to get into that in the light of the Apple River stabbing, because there's a lot of things that go into self-defense, and you need to know this so you don't get yourself hung up. Attorneys on retainer, if you don't want to do all the thought process, you don't want to look into, you know, basically being a paralegal so that you can protect yourself, attorneys on retainer is the better way to go because they're just offering prepaid legal services. ZC says my favorite is when they post in uniform. Okay, yeah, we're still talking about the TikToks, yeah. Respects from Puerto Rico. Hey, man, I would love to go to Puerto Rico. I almost took a contract private security job in Puerto Rico. I would love to visit Puerto Rico. And then Kaylin says, did he win that stabbing as self-defense though? No. So for those of you who are unaware, the Apple River stabbing guy, he was charged with first-degree murder, I believe, at first. And then the day before the jury went in to deliberate, they came back with some lesser charges. I think he ultimately was found guilty of reckless unintentional homicide with a weapon. And it's like a mandatory minimum 40 years, maximum 60. And the guy's 50 years old. So that's going to be a life sentence. And then that's before he got like endangerment with a weapon, which is like 5 years for endangerment. And then like a mandatory 5 to 10 year kicker with the weapon. And he got 4 charges of that. So yeah, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, you know? So my man says, more than welcome to come, brother. Excellent. Well, maybe one day I will. I'll hold you to that. But I don't know you, man. You might get me over there and cut me up or something and make a Damien steak. I would not like that. So anyway, guys, hey, look, I want to thank you for your time. Oh, wait, I didn't show you the video. Oh, I want to show you. Here's the last video of the Cringe TikTok guy. Watch this, okay? And we'll talk about it. Stand by.
If y'all want one of them jobs like where you really just fuck around, don't do much, they was not lying when they said go work security. So I worked at a shopping center in Virginia, right? The pay was I got like $9.50, $9.40 every 2 weeks. And I shit you not, bro, I probably spent like maybe 2 hours out of my 8-hour shift actually working. Most of my shift, I would just be in the office, just on my phone, watching YouTube. I would do so little that I would get so fucking bored. But don't get it twisted though, like I still did my job when I needed to sometimes, because you know, somebody got shot on my shift.
Somebody got shot on his shift. My man wasn't even paying attention. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. If you were working your job and someone got shot, why would you come on and admit that you were fucking around and not doing your job? That is insane. That's crazy.
And I was eating pizza in the office. But anyway, go get a security job.
Someone got shot and he was eating pizza in the office and he thinks that's funny. That's crazy.
I would do so little that I would get so fucking bored. But don't get it twisted though, like I still did my job when I needed to sometimes, because you know, somebody got shot on my shift and I was eating pizza in the office. But anyway, go get a security job, because some of them really just pay you to sit and do nothing. But check the area, because where I worked at, it was a little trapped out.
They're not paying you to sit and do nothing. They're paying you to do your job. You're choosing to sit and do nothing. And that just goes to show you that these little locations and these contracts, these jobs where you don't think, you know, anything is going to happen, you don't get to dictate that. That last video goes right back to the first video. You don't get to pick and choose where the problems are going to show up. You know what I mean? And that's crazy, man. You're right. Those are the people who get killed at their job. Unfortunately, those aren't the people that get killed at their job. Those are the people that aren't paying attention that lead to the actual guy who's doing his job getting shot and killed. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just a lack of effort, man. I don't want to come down on these kids. I don't, man. I don't want to be the old dude. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be the old dude in the hood, but you know, that shit is not okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, yeah. Such lazy people. All right. Well, guys, listen, it's almost dinner time. I appreciate y'all joining me for this stream. We got a lot of stuff talked about tonight. We got a lot in. We talked about bouncers. We talked about being little, right? No disrespect to all you little guys out there. You know, you serve a purpose. You know, it is what it is. But I'm going to go grab some dinner. And I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of the stream. You know how much I appreciate you guys, how much I love you guys. And please, 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 if you have not bought a shirt, if you have not bought a patch, if you have not supported what I am doing, please tonight go and pick up something, guys. Hey, matter of fact, hey, let's do this. Wait, hang on. The atypical security guard logo shirt. Boom. There's that one. Look at this one here. The Jason Voorhees Family Camp Security Service. Right? I like that one. All of these are created by me, designed by me, your boy. The atypical security guard honey drip t-shirt. Y'all can see that. It's hard to show shit. There we go. The honey drip t-shirt. My absolute favorite, the dealer's choice t-shirt, right? Front logo is like that. Y'all see that? The card logo. Look at the, God damn. Everything is backwards on my camera. Sorry. Look at that. Look at the detail. There, finally. There we go. Right? Another honey drip. That's the Bones and Brew logo right there. It's got the B and the cup on the front. I've got the Tactical Zombie. The Tactical Zombie. Shout out to my man, Angry Security Guard. Right? My big thick. This is for all the big guys out there. The big guys. Right? The Bones and Brew security shirt. Right there. Okay. And many, many, many more. Those are just the ones that I got on my laundry. Right? So please support the movement, guys. I appreciate y'all. Okay. I appreciate everything. He says my favorite is when they post in uniform at home. Yeah. Boom. Oh, that's hard. Yeah, that Jason one. Got that Jason Voorhees shirt is crazy, yo. I've got some shirts coming along that same line. Okay. I got some shirts coming along that same line that are fucking dope, man. I'm telling you. All of these make me glad I take my job seriously. I might be paranoid, but I expect things to happen due to the area where I work. And Real K says, what up, bro? What up? All right, guys. I can hear my wife in there making dinner. And I'll tell her y'all said hello. Okay. Make 2A security shirt. Yeah, that's what I do. All my shirts are 2A. I mean, that's what we do, right? But I will make some more 2A specific shirts. How about that? I'll do that. I will make some 2A specific shirts that are sold in my security store. All right. Good deal. All right, guys, I got to go. You should make a pizza security shirt. Okay. Yeah, we'll make that work. Pizza security. All right, y'all, I got to go. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. All right. Be great.